갑시다. Napoleon's final years. 나폴레옹 최후죠. 노년. By all accounts, account는 이야기거든요. 모든 사람들의 이야기에 따르면 뭐 이런 거죠. 모든 사람들의 이야기에 따르면 Napoleon Bonaparte 이 사람은 led an 좀 가만히 있어. Extraordinary life. 비상한 삶을 살았어. The renowned emperor of France. 프랑스의 유명한 황제는 was feared. 사람들이 두려워했다는 거죠. Throughout his reign. 그의 통치 동안에 걸쳐서. For 뭐 때문에? For 이유 1번은 요렇게. 이유 2번은 요렇게. His ingenious military techniques. 그의 엄청 특출한 ingenious,그러니까 독창적이고 특출난 군사 기법과 그 다음에 sweeping reforms of law and bureaucracy. law는 법인 거 알겠고 bureaucracy는 관료, 체제, 관료. 그러면 법 개혁과 그 다음에 관료에 대한 개혁을 했는데 sweeping 한 상태로 했어. sweeping이 이제 전면적 개혁. 전체 다. 그러니까 포괄적인 어떤 개혁. 네. 그런 걸 한 걸로 이 사람을 되게 두려워했다는 거죠. His time came to an end, however. 하지만 그의 시대는 끝났다. When? 언제 he surrendered to British? 영국에 항복했을 때. At the Battle of Waterloo. 워터루에서. 전쟁에서. After his defeat, 그의 패배 이후에 he was exiled to the lonely island of Saint Helena. 외로운 섬 세인트 헬레나에 유배당했다. 엑사일이 이제 유배시키다? 뭐 망명가게 하다? 유배당했다. For the rest of his life. 일생. 나머지 일생 동안. His final years were grim. 그의 마지막 해들은 음침했다. 우울했다. 우울한, 음침한. Napoleon lived in a damp property. 축축한 지역, 그러니까 소유지에서 살았고 그 지역은 riddled with, 모로 가득 찬 riddled with, 모로 가득 찬 뭘로 가득 찬 곳이었냐면 mold. mold가 두 가지 뜻이 있는데 하나는 곰팡이, 하나는 주형. 이게 거푸집 같은 거 있잖아요. 주형. 이게 뭐
틀 같은 거.
주형. mold 안에다가 뭐 넣고 뭐 이러잖아. 뭐 만드는 거. 그래서 이 곰팡이로 가득했고 It was described. 그것은 기술되었다. 뭐로써? as a hovel. hovel은 돼지우리 같은 방. 돼지우리 같은 집. 돼지우리 같은 집 방으로 기술되었다.
저랑 같이 비슷한 집에서 사는 거죠.
By a member of his entourage. entourage는 수행원입니다. entourage. 그의 수행원의 한 명에 의해서 기술되었어. 이렇게 돼지우리 같은 방에 살고 있다고. The British governor in charge, 그 책임을 지고 있던 governor는, 주지사는 총독이, 이때 시대는 총독인가? 어쨌든 이 사람은 was determined to ensure that 이해하는 것을 확실히 하고 싶어 했다는 거죠. was determined 됐다는 게 결심을 하고 이렇게 마음이 결정이 되고 움직이지 않는 상태, 단호했다라는 거죠. To ensure that은 that 이하를 확실히 하기 위해서. that 이하가 뭐냐면 Napoleon could not escape, 절대 이제 도망을 못 가게 하고 and restricted his movements. 그의 움직임을 제한하는 거를 확실히 할 수 있도록. 야, 얘 지금 나폴레옹의 마지막 삶을 얘기하고 있는데 그 삐걱거리는 게 꼭 그 나폴레옹의 마지막 삶의 장소 같잖아. 지금 효과음 같잖아.
제가 기억할까요?
Napoleon's correspondence는 서신입니다. 나폴레옹의 편지 서신은 was strictly monitored. 매우 엄격하게 monitor 되어졌다. 감시되어졌다 하죠. And he had to be seen in person. 직접 만났어야 했다는 거죠. 그러니까 이게 직역을 하면 he had to be seen. 그러니까 보여졌어야 했다. 몸소 직접 by British officials. 그 영국의 뭐 관료, 그러니까 어쨌든 공무원들이겠죠. 거기 일하는 사람들에 의해서 매번 확인을 했어야 됐다는 거예요. Several times a day. 되게 귀찮겠다, 그지? In retaliation, 그러니까 복수로 나폴레옹은 did his best to be hard to spot. 발견하기에 굉장히 어렵게 최선을 다해서 만들었다. 뭘 사용하면서? utilizing peepholes. 그러니까 약간 작은 구멍을 사용하면서 instead of windows. 창문을 사용 안 하고. 그 다음에 디자이닝 하면서 sunken pathways in his garden. 그의 정원에서 이렇게 길이 밑으로 푹 꺼진 그런 길을 만들면서 그러니까 자기가 안 보이게 하려고 했는 거지.
엄마한테서 피하려고 옷장에 들어가 있는 것 같은.
그러니까 뭐 이게 뭐 파파라치, 그러니까 섬이긴 하지만 어쨌든 파파라치가 있을 수도 있고 모르죠. 파파라치가 없나 섬이니까. Well, anyways, yeah. But he spared time. 그의 여가 시간을 was largely spent dictating his memoirs. 그의 뭐 회고록을 받아쓰기 하면서 보내줬다. 그러니까 뭐 이렇게 글을 썼나 보죠. 말로. He wrote a book on Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar에 대한 책을 썼고 studied English, 영어를 공부했고 played cards, 카드 게임을 했고 결국에는 eventually the lack of exercise, 그 운동 부족과 poor living condition, 그 형편없는 주거 환경이 contributed greatly to 이거에 엄청나게 기여했다. His deteriorating health, 악화되어지고 있는 건강에 이제 기여했다. And he suffered from abdominal pain. abdominal은 요 배, 복부 얘기하는 거예요. 그러니까 복부의 pain으로 고통받았고, and overall weakness. 그러니까 전반적인 어떤 약해짐, 쇠약으로 고통받았다는 거죠. 4 years after his arrival on the island. 아일랜드에 도착한 지 4년이 지나서 Napoleon died at the age of 51. 51세 나이로 사망하셨습니다. Some of his remains, 그의 일부 잔해는 were later, 나중에 smuggled out. 밀반입이 아니고 밀반출됐다는 거죠. out이 있으니까. 밀반출됐다. out of the island. And they were then brought. 그리고 그의 잔해는 brought. 어디로 보내졌다. 가져와졌다. And sold. 팔렸다. Over the years. 몇 년에 걸쳐서. And by. 바우시예요. 그러네요. 바우시네. 브라시. 투가 없어서 이상하다 했었는데. 바우시고 그 다음에 sold 되어졌고 그 다음에 by various parties. 여러 당사자, 이해관계자들에 의해서. 이거에 관련된 영상 있습니다.
Apparently, in the 1800s, being sent to a tropical island paradise to live out the rest of your days in comfort is a punishment. Hello everybody and welcome to History Abridged. It's history, just shorter. Today we're going to be talking about Napoleon and his final years after the Battle of Waterloo. This subject was requested by Chrisception Productions. But first, let's talk about who he was and what he did for a little bit, just for the people who aren't quite sure. Napoleon Bonaparte was a political and military leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution. He became Emperor of the French for about 10 years, 1804 to 1814, and a little bit in 1815, and he did a lot during that time, including conquering a large portion of Europe. His military tactics were so successful that even today he is considered one of the best military commanders to have ever lived, as well as one of history's most controversial leaders. So, his final years. After Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo, he returned to Paris only to find that pretty much everyone had turned against him. So, he stepped down in favor of his son, but his son was rejected as well. So he decided to flee and seek asylum with the British.
seek asylum with British라는데 asylum은 망명입니다.
네.
But the British ended up exiling him to an island in the southern Atlantic called St. Helena, where essentially he could just kind of do whatever he wanted as long as he wasn't conquering anything or anyone. He ended up shutting himself indoors, doing a lot of reading and writing. He brought over 400 books with him from France, such as the Iliad, which apparently he liked a lot, and the Odyssey, which apparently he did not. After about a year or two of this lifestyle, Napoleon's health started to decline. Both he and his personal physician blamed it on harsh treatment from the British. In 1821, at the age of 51, Napoleon Bonaparte passed away. His last words were, France, l'armée, tête de l'armée, Joséphine, which in English is France, Army, Head of the Army, Josephine. His cause of death was actually debated for quite some time. Many believe that he was poisoned, including possibly Napoleon himself. In his last will, he wrote, I die before my time, killed by the English oligarchy and its hired assassins.
자기가 이렇게 유언장에 적었다는 거지. 자기가 이제 뭐죠? English oligarchy가 뭐죠? 과두 정치가 뭐죠? 소수의 사람들이 전체를 독재하는 형태의 시스템. Oligarchy and its hired assassins. 자기가 assassin 당하게 됐다 뭐 이렇게 썼다고 그랬나?
Including possibly Napoleon himself. In his last will, he wrote, I die before my time, killed by the English oligarchy and its hired assassins. In a 2008 study, this theory seemed to hold some water.
theory가 hold some water 한다는 게 무슨 표현이죠? hold water. 물을 담는 게 뭐지? 어떤 이론이나 어떤 것이 hold water 한다라는 표현은 이 표현이랑 똑같아요. 어떤 theory가 valid하다, 유효성이다, 타당하다. 그 다음에 sound하다. sound가 뭐죠?
설득력.
건전한, 그죠? 설득력 있고 논리적인 거지. reasonable하다. 뭐 이렇게. 그러니까 합리적으로 보이는 게 뭐라고? hold water 한다라는 표현을 쓰는 거지. 이해가?
An analysis of Napoleon's hair made it clear that his body contained 100 times more arsenic than his
arsenic이 비소장, 그러니까 독극물로 많이 사용돼요. 그러면 지금 바리에 이런 게 발견됐다라는 것 자체가 아마 독살이지 않을까. 자기 스스로든지 아니면 남이든지.
normal. However, it was also revealed that he was exposed to arsenic as a boy.
근데 또 다르게 또 나온 이유는 뭐죠? He was exposed to arsenic as a boy라고 했으니까 어릴 때 비소에 노출이 됐었다.
And another study in the same year proved that he died of stomach cancer.
그리고 또 다른 연구는 he died of stomach cancer. 그러니까 위암으로 죽었다.
As his father did before him. In
그리고 아버지는 그렇게 위암으로 돌아갔으니까 아마 유전도.
his will, he said he wanted his ashes to be spread in France. However, the British governor decided to bury him on St. Helena. Eventually, in 1840, the French requested and got permission from the English to bring Napoleon's remains home.
오케이. 그다음 하나 더 있어요. 뉴스인데 나폴레옹의 결말. 이게 2021년 5월 6일.
Emmanuel Macron has marked the bicentenary of the death of Napoleon Bonaparte, France's best-known military leader and one of the founders of the modern republic. The president laid a wreath at Napoleon's tomb. But in 21st century France, Napoleon is a divisive figure. Mr. Macron acknowledged a darker side in the legacy. Lucy Williamson has been looking at how Napoleon is remembered.
How do you commemorate an emperor in the 21st century? A man who threatened much of Europe and reversed a ban on slavery, but also laid the foundations of the modern French state.
I tried to make him as I think he was, very tormented, internal, never satisfied, always looking for power and a place in history. I didn't want to make him a conqueror, but rather someone very lonely, who died alone.
This new statue of Napoleon is destined for the town of Montauban, near Toulouse, made a regional capital by the emperor in 1808. But is he still a hero here?
I don't understand why we're now putting up statues of Napoleon when we've had such a fuss about removing statues of men because of their racist past. Napoleon reinstated slavery, so I think it's bizarre.
I think it's a great idea. Even with his shortcomings, he was still a great man, whether we like it or not.
의견이 갈리는 거지, 그지? 이게 동상을 뭐하러 지금 하느냐, 그렇게 뭐 레이시스트를 했다는 사람의 동상을 테이크다운 하는 것도 그렇게 버스를 떨어놓고는 지금 와서 이제 이거를 세우는 게 또 뭔 의미냐 뭐 이런 느낌으로 나뉘는 거죠.
Montauban City Council was also initially divided over the statue.
As with any historical figure, some spots are darker than others. But of course, if you take just one element, it's very easy to condemn anyone. Today, we're in a dictatorship of the politically correct, and I'm among those who want to fight it.
Napoleon was a man who knew the power of public image. At his former home outside Paris, they're preparing for a new exhibition looking at his many different faces. This room tells the story of Napoleon's careful creation of his image, from busts in the style of Roman emperors.
From the bust라고 했는데 이 bust가 뭐죠? 흉상. 이 가슴상까지 이렇게 만들어놓은 조각이에요. 저거 많이 나왔잖아, 이 단어가. 저기 나온 적 있는 것 같은데? 아닌가? Yeah. Not this class. Some other class.
To this painting, which shows him leading an army across the Alps, reimagined to replace the mule he was actually travelling on with a magnificent horse. Napoleon reportedly loved this painting so much, he ordered several copies of it to
어쨌든
use as
이미지를
propaganda.
프로파간다처럼 쓴 거지.
200 years on, the story of France's past is more balanced, more controversial. But President Macron today said that history should not be made to bear the burden of modern debates.
Napoleon Bonaparte is a part of us. He is a part of us because saying his name continues to strike 1,000 chords of imagination everywhere.
Napoléon Bonaparte est une part de nous.
Napoleon Bonaparte is part of us because the actions and lessons of the warrior, the strategist, the legislator as well as the builder, still carry into our century.
His decision to lay a wreath at the emperor's tomb today.
His decision to lay a wreath라고 했는데 wreath가 뭐죠? 화관, 리스, 화관. 화관을 툼에다가 놓는 거를 그냥 그대로 하기로 한 거죠.
Won't have pleased everyone. But as this resting place so clearly shows, Napoleon's relationship to France was always complex. A man who died in exile after the shame of military defeat, laid to rest in honour under a golden dome. Lucy Williams.
Interesting, 그지? 아까 죽을 때는 외롭게 혼자서 그렇게 쓸쓸하게 유배당한 곳에 죽었는데 또 다시 그 잔해는 돌아와서 이렇게 glorious한 둠에다가 또 넣어놓고, 그지? 그러니까 사람들도 반반 갈리나 봐. 그냥 역사로 그냥 이 사람을 그냥 평가할 것인가 아니면 모르죠. 그러니까 뭘로 평가하고 싶은지는 이 사람들도 갈리는 거니까. 뭐 어쨌든 대통령은 그렇게 생각한다는 거지.